If you're the kind of person that likes to go off the beaten path and experience the extraordinary, then this hike may be for you. Welcome to what could possibly be the creepiest hike in Texas. These are the 100-year-old ruins of an abandoned, overgrown zoo that abounds with broken enclosures, crumbling buildings, empty pools, and twisted metal bars. It looks like a scene straight out of Jurassic Park, where the zoo's wild inhabitants apparently just decided one day that they'd had enough of captivity and decided to break out and go on a wild rampage. Okay, although the actual decline of the zoo may not have been quite as dramatic, it's still a fascinating story and perhaps a cautionary tale that highlights the importance of proper planning and foresight. Located near the small town of Cisco, Texas, this now abandoned zoo was first opened in 1923. It seemed to spring almost out of nowhere, with the first few animals having to make do in very confined and probably uncomfortable cement enclosures that actually formed part of the structure of a nearby dam. Slowly but surely, however, the zoo built up a modest variety of animals which captivated and fascinated visitors from far and near. During the next couple of decades, tourists would come to see the creatures, to stay in the now abandoned guest cottages, and to swim in the huge man-made pool that opened a few years later below the dam. Unfortunately, however, it was not to last. Before too long, the zoo's bear was poisoned in an unsolved crime, and in an unrelated incident, the deer also died. As a result of these and other unfortunate events, the zoo went downhill fast, and it was forced to close by the 1930s. Eventually, nature began to take over, turning the once proud zoo into a sinister scene straight out of a post-apocalyptic dystopia, complete with abandoned structures, overgrown enclosures, and mangled metal bars. However, in the spring of 2021, a non-profit organization known as Students, Athletics, Families, and Education, or SAFE for short, took on the heavy task of turning the overgrown property into a hiking area. Their efforts were successful, and by summer that year, the work was completed. Thus, from that point forward, this creepy yet fascinating abandoned wonderland was open to the public for everyone to enjoy. Access here is free, and each of the trails is less than a mile long and features an elevation gain of less than 150 feet, so you don't really have to be an athlete to enjoy them. Rocky paths twist their way past the crumbling ruins of animal dens, creating a unique hiking experience which includes a blend of history and nature. Twisted bars from long-gone cages fill the area, while dried-up pools take the visitor's imagination back to a time when the zoo's avian residents would happily, or perhaps unhappily, who knows, flap their wings in the water during a warm, sunny Texas day. Guests here, both young and old, can take on the challenge of finding at least 10 medallions with animal symbols scattered throughout the ruins of the old zoo, which back in the day were used to designate which animals were housed in the respective enclosures. In addition, deep inside some of the thick vegetation around here also sit the crumbling ruins of some of the guest cottages and stone structures that were used decades ago to house and entertain visitors from all over Texas and beyond. Truly, although this place had a rocky start, no pun intended, it eventually showed that with proper planning, coordination, and teamwork, a logistical and administrative disaster can be converted into an educational attraction that takes its guests back to a wilder era. Thank you so much for joining me on this adventure. Please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Beyond Civilization, if you're enjoying my content, as well as clicking on the notification bell to be notified of any future videos that I produce. I'll see you on the next one.